Before we get started, I want to tell you about a very exciting event I have coming up, which is called Foundations to the Enneagram. It's going to be on February the 8th in Memphis, Tennessee. If you are in the area, I would love for you to come out. I'm going to be teaching the Enneagram from a very accurate standpoint so you can have a strong foundation so you can do some real personal, professional growth within yourself. And I am going to be super excited. I don't have many seats to this one, but it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a workshop. So you're going to do a little work in there as well. You're going to walk away with some tools, some techniques, and some exercises that'll help you become better and make healthier choices. So you can sign up for that at kaizencareers.com/events, or you can go to Eventbrite and look up Foundations to the Enneagram. Once again, look forward. I would love to see you there. Bye. Welcome to Do It for the Gram, an Enneagram podcast with your host, certified Enneagram coach Milton Stewart, where we do it for the Enneagram, not Instagram. We make moves to improve our lives and those in our community. So welcome to 2020. It is good to see or hear or have you as a listener here. And I hope that coming into 2020, you have kind of been rejuvenated, got a little bit of relaxation in over these holidays and days off, and that you're ready for 2020 to grow, to do a lot of internal work, and just to be an overall better person, making healthier choices as we go into this wonderful year and new decade. So this year I got a lot of different things I had planned out to come throughout the year. And what I'm going to start with is the thing called passions. Each type, the passions, the vice, the emotional patterns. I'm going to break that down a little bit. But I wanted to start with that because this year I also wanted to teach the subtypes of each number so that people can get even more granular and specific on their specific type and their pattern. And really to understand the subtype, you need to understand the passion, vice/emotional pattern. So in these episodes, in this series we got coming up, it's just going to be about the passion, the vice, and the emotional pattern of each type. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's go. Intro music. All right, so you may be wondering, what is the passion, vice, or emotional pattern of your Enneagram type? Because you may have seen the different things and maybe not fully understand it. So what is the passion, vice, or emotional pattern? The passion, vice, or emotional pattern all represent the same thing and are used interchangeably throughout Enneagram teaching and books. The passion, vice, or emotional pattern is a specific habit that each type has that flares up hardcore. Unfortunately, the passion, vice, or emotional pattern can be so automatic or native to the way you interact with the world, you may barely notice it's happening or not even recognize it when it's happening. You may say, that is just the way I am, or I am this kind of person, without really examining why you react the way you do in certain situations. The Latin root word for passion is passio, which means suffering. The connotation of passion now is more of an intense care or enthusiasm for something, but the root meaning of the word passion is actually suffering. That is why it is used in many Enneagram circles, and especially those who built the foundation of Enneagram years and years and years and years and years and years ago. The passion of each number is something we all are suffering or must endure through our lives. It does not mean suffer as in being excruciating pain, but more of a habit that seems to trap us and keep us and can lead us into pain within our lives. The Latin word for vice is vitium, hope I said that right, which means flaw, defect, fault, or error. Emotional pattern is a more new age term that I believe describes it well and makes it easier to communicate to people in our generation. I do not want to abandon the word passion or vice because they make a statement that this emotional pattern we struggle with is something we must work on. and it's not just a jolly old emotion. So throughout this, I will use them interchangeably throughout this whole episode so you can get a grasp on the language as well. Why is the passion, vice, emotional pattern important? Because the Enneagram is a growth tool, Many times people get caught in just getting the knowledge of it and seeing some of the patterns, but do not apply it to themselves in a way that helps them grow. When you start to notice and become aware of your passion, you realize when you may be moving towards unhealthiness and your type structure may be about to take over and react in an automatic habitual behavior instead of choosing the action you want to make. Disrupting your vice allows you to make better choices for your life and just maybe get the things you really want out of life and not settling for a knockoff, counterfeit, faux, or fake version of it. Quick, easy example. If you are looking for affection, attention, and love, but you settle for sex, which will never hit the mark of what you're really longing for. That is more of an extreme example, but this is the case for many areas in our lives. The power of the Enneagram is the internal work. Internal work is not like external work, which is usually fast and caught up in what others think, say, and do. Internal awareness is slower, quieter, more challenging, and way harder than external work. Why do you think so few people intentionally change for the better, unless something chaotic brings it to their attention that they must change? It is not easy, but if you are here, then you must be one of the people working on engaging in the challenging journey of internal work. Recognizing your emotional pattern is important if you want to dive into internal work and truly change your life for the better. All right, so you're probably wondering, what is my type's passion? So the passion, vice, or emotional pattern of the Enneagram 2 is pride. This kind of pride is the overinflation or deflation of themselves. All right, hold up, real quick. Just want to let you know, this is the Enneagram as a growth tool. So when I teach it as a growth tool, I don't teach it to butter and fluff people up and make them feel good about themselves, to be honest, even though I do feel good about yourselves at the same time. But I'm not using the Enneagram to do that. Let me say that. I'm not using the Enneagram to say, oh, look at all these great things I am, and I just love my personality. Oops. And that's something I struggle with. I use it as a tool because I want people to grow. So I'm going to challenge you. And when we get into the passion, the vice, and emotional pattern, this is something that's going to come off as negative, but actually help you to make healthier choices. So it may seem a little strong, but it's going to be to help you benefit in your life. So here we go. What is my type's passion? The passion, vice, and emotional pattern of the Enneagram 2 is pride. This kind of pride is an overinflation or deflation of themselves. Pride is such a slippery slope and can be quite elusive to the untrained eye. So I will try to make it clear here and clarify it some as much as I can. On the surface level, 2s have pride about being the helper or the helpful person. They wouldn't dare let you know they need help or have needs because their identity is caught up in being the helper. Because if their identity is caught up in being the helper, then there's no way they could be the one needing help. That is pride. That is pride. That is pride. I can help you, but you're not able to help me. That is so much pride. Deflation of themselves is also pride as well. When 2s spiral and complain that people do not treat them right, care about them, appreciate them, and make everything about how they cannot get anything right, it usually comes out of pride for them. That's pride. I do all this and these things right and being helpful, and they don't do anything stories of being a victim is all pride. The vice of pride for type 2s allows them to play the victim card very well. It's all pride. When 2's emotional pattern of pride kicks in, their logical part of their brain does not work strongly because the abundance of emotions have overwhelmed their thinking center. 2s who have been overcome with pride can be very vindictive in nature to the very people that they love the most and or the people that they feel have not appreciated them for all the things they have done for them. Like all passions, it never gets us to truly what we want. Matter of fact, it gets us counterfeit, fake, or even the opposite of what we truly want. Typically, 2s want to be wanted, loved, but when pride overtakes type 2s, it makes them behave in ways that actually push people away from them and not want to love them and be around them. So how did I get this passion? It all started as a child. 2s usually got approval by being helpful or satisfying someone else's needs. The pride of being the helper also gave you the internal buzz. Many twos have a kind of natural high from helping people. It is like a drug, so it feels good, but may not be good for you. Some twos have also found that playing victim has given them attention or appreciation that they seek, though it never really gets them true love. All right, what can I do when I notice my passion is rearing its ugly head? Pride for the type 2. Somatically, many twos feel pride literally well up in their chest. When you notice the pride of being the helper or the supporter arises within you, you are going to need to take some slow, deep breaths. And if you are in a situation, remove yourself for a while if possible. You want to get to the logical part of your brain so you can process the situation and not just go straight from emotions, which can make you overthink or ruminate on how the other person may feel. Even though twos are good at noticing others and what they need help with, when overcome with pride, that skill is tainted. So you have to be very weary of listening to that part of yourself when pride is taken over. Pay less attention to your assumptions about what another person did, doing, felt, and focus on how you actually feel and what would be the next best action for yourself. If there is any pettiness in your action, then it is most definitely not the healthiest decision you can make. When you are overwhelmed with pride, ask yourself, how do I really feel about this situation? And secondly, why am I feeling this way? Example, how do I feel? I feel hurt and embarrassed. Why am I feeling this way? Because I want that person to come to me only because my love for them is more about how it makes me feel than it is unconditional love for them to prosper. This is hard to admit, but you can love someone deeply and your love is more focused on how you feel than their actual benefit from the love. Kind of like your love for another person is 60% for you and 40% for them. That is just one of the examples, but there are many more. Hopefully you have found some value in this podcast episode. You can help to keep this podcast going by supporting us on patreon.com. Patreon.com is a site where you can support content providers. Podcasts are free to listeners, but not free for creators. It actually costs money and definitely time to produce consistent and weekly podcasts. I podcast because I want to reach people and change our community through the Enneagram. If you want to help in that by supporting me, you can go to patreon.com/doitforthegram. That is patreon.com/doitforthegram. So for the two, remember, it's going to take, as I said, just wrapping that part up, it's going to take taking some deep breaths, sometimes removing yourself from your situations because the emotions and pride can be overwhelming. And so when the emotions of a two well up because they naturally feel theirs and others very easily, make sure you take some deep breaths in your mouth and out through in your nose and out through your mouth and try to regulate your body so that you know exactly what's going on with you. So you're not responding out of pure emotions, but you've actually taken some time and question yourself to really think, what do I feel and how do I feel and why am I feeling this way? And if you can be honest with yourself and not allow your personality to tell you you're the helper, you're nice, you're doing all these great things because you just really want to help somebody. If you can be really honest with yourself, you're going to make some really, really good decisions going forward, healthy decisions. Let me say that. That's going to be for your relationships and it'll actually bring people closer to you rather than push them away. And it's actually going to allow you to unconditionally love people instead of conditionally loving them, but acting as if it is unconditional with your words and your thought pattern. So that's going to be huge for the twos. Besides that, that's all I have today for the twos. Yep. Quick, short, and sweet. But working on your passion of pride is going to be a lifelong thing. Buckle up and get ready for that one when it starts to happen. All right, some of the quick reminders. The Patreon goal. I have not reached the Patreon goal just yet as I'm recording this episode. I am about $30 off. I want to get a full-time editor for the podcast and actually be able to cover the cost that it costs monthly. And so if you want to help with that, you can go to patreon.com/doitforthegram. Also, I have events coming up. February the 8th, I have an event, a local event in Memphis coming up. It's called Foundations to the Enneagram. And I want to accurately teach the Enneagram, at least the foundation of it, to people who are really ready to grow, who want the growth tool, and who want to interact with other people who are in the same boat and really trying to grow themselves and our community and really do some work to improve and make healthier choices. And so that's going to be coming up February 8th. You can find that information on Eventbrite or kaizencareers.com/events. You can sign up there. You can RSVP and do what your thing. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to either communicate with me on Instagram, which is Do It For The Gram Podcast, or just email me at milton@kaizencareers.com. I am really accessible and I love to communicate with you all. Thank you all so much too for the messages of saying like certain episodes have helped you, certain things I said have helped you. That's such a blessing to me and I appreciate it so much and I'm so thankful for that. And so I'm easily accessible if you need to contact me, and if you're looking for coaching or consulting and teaching, you can also contact me and we can talk about that and look and see what that looks like going forward in the future. And so for Enneagram 2s, if your emotional pattern, vice, or passion or pride is welling up, before you react out of strong 2ness, take a deep breath in your nose and out of your mouth slowly. Ask yourself, how do I actually feel and need to respond? And do it for the gram, the Enneagram, of course, and make a healthy choice. We'll see you soon. Have a great day. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
I want to give a quick shout out to blog.feedspot.com/Enneagram_podcast. They do kind of a top 15 and they have announced Do It For The Gram and Enneagram Podcast as one of their top 15 Enneagram podcasts to follow in 2020. Shout out to them. Thank you so much. And interestingly enough, as a 7 on this list, I'm actually number 7. I'm going to put this in the show notes because I think even though like in competition, you always want to be number 1, but I don't think the Enneagram is necessarily a competition. I think it's what speaks to you, what helps you, and what can help others around you. So you can check that out. I mean, it'll be in my show notes, but thanks to blog.feedspot.com for placing me in your top 15 Enneagram podcasts to follow in 2020. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.